As we have done all year long, let's talk a little Carolina football. I'm Jones Angell. He's Bill Belichick. Of course, thanks so much for being here. And Coach, last week we talked some about your preparation for games. I wanted to talk about game plan a little bit before we get to NC State this week. Obviously, there's going to be stuff that you guys want to do consistently and do well every time you play. How much of that do you take into a weekly game, and how much of it changes from week to week depending on the opponent that you're playing?
Yeah, that's the big question, Don. Says how to manage those things. You look at your opponent and you maybe see some things you think you can take advantage of, and then you look at yourself and you say, well, what do we do well? If they match up, that's great.
Sure.
If they don't, then you kind of have to make a decision. Do we want to keep doing what we do well, and even though it might be into their strength, or do we want to try to change and do something that maybe we're not really as familiar with because we think it'll attack their weakness? And it might be a little bit of both. You have it's hard to change your game plan dramatically to attack a weakness. You might be able to pick out a couple plays, but especially this time of year, things you've been doing all year are probably what you do best. And you don't want to get too far away from that, but at the same time, you want to give your opponent something to work on.
Have you felt like the guys you're working with, the college-age guys, are pretty malleable, pretty flexible in that way and able to do that from week to week?
Well, they can definitely do it. It as always, doesn't matter what level you're at. It comes down to execution, and actually, it's the timing and execution of the play can be very critical depending on what the play is. But
sure,
especially when you're down in the red area, you're on a 5-yard line or something like that. It's not no room for error. Yeah, but as far as being able to adjust to it and doing it and maybe want to do it, it's usually fun to put in a new play, new idea, new concept. But if you get something different that you're not expecting, then can you make the adjustment to it and so forth? And that's, that's the unknown.
Yeah. Game plan this week, of course, is for NC State as the Heels head to Raleigh to see the Wolfpack. Coach, what should Tar Heel fans know about State? What have you seen in your preparation for the opponent this week?
They play hard. They're a really tough physical team, kind of along the lines of Wake Forest. They have a good running game, good running quarterback. They get some explosive plays. But their backs are good, and defensively, again, they play hard. They have a very experienced front. They have the leading tackler in the ACC, and they have some younger guys in the secondary who are starting to come on and gain some experience. So, they've had some solid wins. They're a good team. They play hard. They're well coached. Dave does a good job, and his guys are always ready to play. So, going on the road there, I'm sure it'll be a hostile environment, and we need to be ready for that.
This was always a challenge, Carolina and State. It's 7:30 on Saturday night. We'll be on the air at 6:30 to get you ready. Hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll see you this weekend.